tear gassed. Oh God. I remember talking to my dad about it before we were going, and I was like, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, I'm scared. And Dad's like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Like you've been trained. Like you'll be fine. And I was like, oh my God.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Tactical Career Chat. So I'm Brody from Outperform Fitness, and we got Tara with us here today. So she's 18 and has just enlisted into the Air Force through the Gap Year Program as aviation operations. The journey hasn't been a quick one. She first started applying back in 2021, and after years of waiting, she finally enlisted in March this year. Along the way, she's faced challenges, built resilience, and made the leap into military life. We're going to dive into what that process was really like for her, the ups, the downs, the proud moments, and what she's looking forward to in her gap year. So just a quick disclaimer, this career chat is presented as a personal experience and is not on the behalf of the Australian Defence Force. So Tara, welcome to the chat. So let's just kick things off with a little bit about yourself and where you're at in your life before you decided to join the Air Force.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm 18. I, enlisted this year in March. I was when I was first applying, I was applying for pilot and mission aircrew. And then just had the gap year down as my third option, just as a backup. Yeah, long story short, I had to use the backup. But it's actually been pretty rewarding. So yeah, like it's been more interesting than like the little information that we found out like about the gap year that we got told. It's actually been a lot more interesting. And you learn a lot of things and like you meet a lot of people in so many different job roles and avenues. Which is
Awesome.
also good to like get their insight on like their experiences of joining and then like getting into their job role and yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of silver lining to getting your second preference, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, what got you thinking about, like right back at the start, what got you thinking about joining the Air Force to start with and why the Air Force in particular?
So when I was 7 or 8, Dad took us to an air show in Townsville, at the RAF base there. And yeah, from sort of that moment on, after watching the F-18s, I was like, that's what I'm doing. So
That
then,
young.
yeah. So then
Wow.
throughout there, it was just, implemented more and more with like watching air shows and watching like videos about aviation. And then like, as I got older, like reading into the Air Force and then the Navy and Army, like looking at all different three and see what all three of them do differently. But yeah, I definitely did have a preference towards Air Force to fly jets.
Yeah. Awesome. It's
Yeah.
definitely been a lifelong dream by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
absolutely awesome. Yeah, well, I used to live in Cessnock, right near the Singleton base. Like that's about
Yeah.
45-minute drive from where I used to grow up. And we lived in the bush there on just a small farm, and we could even hear all the mortars and everything going off when they had exercises and stuff going on. And we'd see all the army guys driving through town and stuff. And the funny thing is I never had any sort of thought of joining the army when I was young, even though I was integrated in all of that and saw it all the time. It wasn't until I was older that I actually started to think about it. But yeah, that's absolutely awesome. And you've achieved it now. You're in.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
good's that?
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, you started all your application, everything way back in 2021, and you enlisted in this year in March, which is 2025 now. So that's obviously a long lead up.
Yeah.
What was the process like for you, and how come was it by choice taking that long, or?
No, circumstances out of my hand, just with recruiting, was slow for a couple of years there for whatever reason. So yeah, it wasn't ideal, but here I am now. So in the long run, it was worth waiting that long.
Yeah,
Yeah, at the
sure.
start, it was pretty good, like, because you have like the U sessions and you do your JOA, I think it's called. So doing all that and then like talking with a career consultant was actually interesting because they actually go through like what you unlocked and then like what you can do and everything. So that was good when you are set on something, but also to get told about everything else, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Yeah.
To sort of broaden your mindset of, all right, there's this, but that also sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Um, yeah, and then it was a pretty smooth process for the first year. Yeah, it was, pretty smooth sailing. Got through everything. Yeah, like reaching out to like my career coaches at the time, they were really helpful. Like any questions, they would like, help me get the answer or find the answer or direct me in a direction where I could get the answer from. So that was good that they were all like really willing to help. And if I had any questions, actually showing me where I could find the answer or giving me the answer,
Yeah.
which was good.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Well, in just on the gap year side of things, were you in school when you started applying, or were you out of school by then?
Yeah, I was in school. So I was in year 10
Yeah.
when I started applying.
And
Yeah.
what's the whole thing behind the gap year side of things for those that don't understand it? I don't even I haven't looked into that much either. What is just give us a little bit of an overview of what the gap year essentially is and how you are able to take advantage of it.
It's sort of like a try before you buy in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So I can talk to like my gap year, obviously. So we, do the full one RTU, the full 9 weeks at one RTU. And then we do like a IETs. It's
Yep.
not like a full IETs because it's only a month, but like an IET similar where for us we learn a lot about operations. So we
Yep.
work in like an airbase operations center and we get taught by people who work in there like how to make a deployed one so when we get deployed on exercises, what goes into it, like what radio calls, and then what do we have to do on the
Mm.
radio, and then things like that. And then also like an on base one. So
Yep.
like, well, if you get deployed to one on base, how does that look like different to, exercise environment,
Yep.
AVOC, which was interesting to learn how the different operations all come together, how you schedule things to come together and things like that. So that's really interesting. And
Yeah.
then, making the base work per se of, you know, letting each squadron and then each like sec four and each unit like all work together to
Mm.
achieve like the same objective is also really interesting to learn about.
Yeah.
And then we did a lot of because we were based at East South IETs. So we did tours of the officer training school there.
Awesome.
So we did a lot of like team building activities, like we did abseiling and rock climbing. Um, what else we did that week? We talked to and did a lot of simulators of like the weapons, the WESOs training. We did like a couple of their sims. We did some mission sims. Um, yeah. What else did we do there?
All right,
And
awesome.
then
Well,
we,
we'll come back to we'll
yeah,
get back into basic training. We'll get into all the good stuff that you got into. But yeah, back with just a bit of an overview of it. So yeah, with the gap year, by the sounds of it, you go through and you do the recruit training. So that's recruit training unit. That's what
yeah,
RTU is. So you go through and do the full one as usual, and then you got a little bit of a condensed IETs, which is initial employment training. Is that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And who's able to take advantage of the gap year side of things? Can anyone go in and do it, or?
Pretty much anyone. I mean, obviously there's an age limit, so I believe it's under 25 for the gap year scheme. But yeah, anyone can like take advantage of it. And there's like multiple different gap years now. Like there's like, like a personally capability specialist gap year, or there's like an A-Tech gap year. So there's a
Yep.
lot of like different ones that you can do if you're interested in certain roles. It's really good because you get like the try before you buy experience because you're only bound in for a year. So if you really don't like it, you can just leave. Or if you do like it, you have the option to, sign on
Yeah.
full
Awesome.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like you terminate the try before you buy, and yeah, because typically when you join the defense force, you're in for an extended period.
Yeah.
Like for myself, just thinking back, it was 6 years when I joined as a mechanic. You had to be in for 6 years before you had the option to leave. So that's a pretty big commitment for a lot of people when they don't even know if it's what they're
Yeah.
doing. So yeah, that gap year just gives you that opportunity to get in and see what it's like and see if you want to continue it. Good. Well, throughout your enlistment, because it did take that extended period, was there any time that you doubted it was even going to happen, or were you just set on it? It's like this is happening no matter
Oh
what.
yeah, there was definitely doubt because it was stagnant for about 8 months.
Yeah.
I was just like, I had completed everything, and I was like, okay, well, like, what's happening?
Yeah.
um, yeah, due to like circumstances out of my control, paperwork got lost and
Yeah.
whatever. And that was the reason why it was stagnant. But yeah, after we sorted all that out, it was pretty much smooth sailing. Like a couple weeks after we figured it out, they're like, oh, yeah, you got into the gap year, you're leaving in March, have fun. And that was, I think, like 4 months before. And I was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So that was going to be the next question. Like, do you remember the moment when you finally found out, like finally got accepted? What was the sort of stuff going through your head at that time? Was like, whoa, this is really happening?
Yeah, it was really weird because I had just finished work and I was walking to the car and it was like unknown number and I was like, oh, I feel like I should answer this. And yeah, I answered it. It was my career coach. He's like, hey, look, I got you a job. You're leaving in 4 months. Your letter of offer will be in your inbox tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, sweet, thanks. And
Yeah.
then just went out and told mom and dad, I was like, hey, I actually got in. I'm leaving in 4 months. And they were like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, I leave in March.
They were all
Yeah, it
happy
was
with
sort
it.
of,
They were all keen
yeah,
on it too.
it was like surprising at the time, because we haven't heard anything for so long.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you're going.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was so surprising, but also like a relief of like, all right, I finally got
Yeah.
there. Like
Sure.
it's all finally worked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard the term a million times now that you're in the Defence Force. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
It's what it's all about. You get
Yeah.
ready now, and we'll tell you when to go
Exactly.
for us.
Yeah.
Nah, all good. Well, yeah. So during your preparation, so getting yourself ready through enlistment and all that sort of stuff, what sort of challenges did you face getting yourself ready? Any physical, mental, or anything in between?
Yeah, definitely probably like physical challenges of actually trying to find out what the fitness standards were.
Mm,
Because, they tell you what it is to get in, but then they don't tell you what it is once you're in, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Because they do vary a lot, which I found out. But that was probably like the main challenge. Yeah, but the other ones were just, making sure to get all the paperwork in on the deadlines and, all of
Yeah.
that fun stuff of
Yeah.
finding information that you didn't know you had.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's
that was
it.
probably the biggest thing was the physical aspect.
Do you
Because,
feel like you prepared well?
I do feel like I did prepare well because obviously I did your program
Mm,
towards the end of it. So I was like, oh, I need other help. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a good help because, yeah, past my PFT, like, I think it was the fourth week of recruits, and it was like, 4 levels of the big test above what you needed to get in. I
Yeah. For
was
sure.
like, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what how I like to explain the PFA for anyone that even has it anymore, because Navy doesn't even have one. It's just a risk mitigation tool. So I don't like looking at it essentially as a fitness test, because all that's there is for the Defence Force to go, yep, we're willing to, we're accepting to take you on at the level that you're at, to be able to train you up higher than that. Navy doesn't even have one at the moment, so they're taking that risk on to start with, and it's just injury risk to make sure you're at a certain level to be able to take you up to a higher level from where you're at. And as you found out, once you're in at higher level, and even your PFT where you're at right now, it still doesn't set you at a high level of fitness. It's still just the minimum requirement, isn't it? It's much higher than what the PFA was as well. So it's that next level. And that's why I definitely love helping out, because I know where you have to go. I know that those entry standards are just there for a particular reason, and then help you build up that fitness that you need moving forward. Just setting yourself up, for success when you get there. No stress in passing a fitness test or anything like that. Like you said, you had in week 4. But
was our first official one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, let's get into basic training. So people always wonder about the first few days of basic training. So can you just walk us through what it was like those first couple of days?
Yeah.
Did it
The
take you
first
by
day
surprise?
was like really weird. Like, when you get the plane, then you get the bus to base. That was really weird because you have a lot of freedom when you're left alone with random people you have like you don't know. And you're just left alone in your blocks with them, with all of the freedoms of still having like your civilian clothes and your phone and you still have everything. Which was a little weird. Like going in, I was like, all right, as soon as we get there, like I'm not gonna have anything, just gonna be like straight into it. No, it was really weird in that aspect.
Yeah.
Um, but that was because we had a lot of people that were coming in late at night. So I
Okay.
think the last group got to base at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and then we went and did all of the induction stuff, and that's sort of when the phones were put away. Yeah, the second day was a massive wake up call. Our instructors joked with us and we're like, oh, they're like, oh yeah, we'll get you up at 6:30. They're like, you don't even have to worry. Yeah, we hear yelling at 5:30, banging on the door and we're all out in the hallway.
Stitches up.
Half asleep in our pajamas, like, what's going on? Yeah.
Big shock to the system at that point.
Yeah, definitely a big shock to the system of like, holy,
Yeah.
we all thought we had another hour sleep.
Yeah. Made it a little bit easier for you on the first night and lowered your expectations just to bring it home the next day.
Yeah.
You won't get that on the first night at Kapuka with Army. It's you get off the bus and you're getting yelled at before you even get off the bus.
I think a couple of groups had that because I was when I flew down to the airport, there was only three of us. I feel like it would be a little weird if they were
Yeah.
yelling at just three people.
Yeah.
Have the same effect.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it was still uh intimidating is not quite the right word. Daunting, I should say.
Mm.
Of, new players have no idea what's going on, and then you have these, two corporals in uniform.
Telling
Like
instructions.
serious,
Yeah.
like get in the van. You're like, yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Well, typical day at your basic training. What does that look like? Obviously, they're all different depending on what stages of the training you're up to. But yeah, just typical day. What you said you were getting up at 5:30 on that first day.
yeah,
Was that pretty much usual? And what times lights out at the end and what's in between all of that?
yeah. So the first, it sort of goes in weeks. They sort of did it in weeks, as the weeks were very similar. So for the first week, it was sort of like, yeah, get up at 5:30 in the morning, and then uh be outside ready, waiting for the mess at 6:30. So, getting up for meal parade and then marching up to the mess and everything. Obviously, for the first couple of days, you're not in uniform, because for us, we hadn't been issued uniforms yet.
Yep.
So, everyone knows you're the new kids because you're rocking around in black PT gear.
Yeah.
No idea what you're doing. But yeah, once you like get issued all of your uniforms and you start, wearing them, you sort of feel like you're fitting in with everyone else because then you're all in the same colors per se.
Mm.
Yeah, the first week is a very full-on week, very um information heavy week, I shall
Mm.
say.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get all of the briefs to you, they're giving you information, and then you have tasks to do after you get like knocked off in the
Yep.
afternoon. That varied day to day depending on how many briefs we had or activities or whatever. It varied the times. But yeah, it was usually after dinner time, which is about 6:30, I
Yep.
believe it was. It's been a little while, but I believe it was, yeah, around 6:30 was when we had dinner at the mess, and then after that it was usually time is your own until lights out at 10. So getting those tasks that they give you done in between those times can be challenging,
Yeah.
especially when you're trying to get to know the vibe of people in your room as well.
Yeah.
People you don't know. You guys come from like totally different places, so it's also trying to get the people to know around you and then also getting your tasks done.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a big I wouldn't say challenge, but it's definitely a different experience.
Mm.
From civilian life of you just do tasks when they come.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, you're very time limited to how and when you can get them done.
Yeah.
But I feel like by day 3, day 4, you all sort of start working together because
Yep.
that's when you sort of realize you're like, oh, well, I can't do these tasks by myself. Like, I can't get them done by myself.
Yeah.
So then, you find people's strengths. Like somebody's either really good at sewing, somebody's really good at ironing, or like, I know it was the case for me. Like, I can't tell you how many clothes I've ironed at recruits. It was ridiculous. Towards the end, I had like a little barter system of like, all right, if I iron this for you, you can get me chocolate from Afghans. Like,
That's it. Make business
yeah.
out of it.
Yeah. It was, yeah, a big, good business because a lot of people needed help ironing, but then it's also teaching them people as well. So you
Yeah.
also get, in the first week, you also get like those bonds with people, like, of helping them learn things and then them also helping you learn things. And you all like start working together. Like I remember in the first week, I think it was the Friday, there was 60 of us in the course, all sitting in the common room together, stitching and labeling and like freaking out because they're like, oh my God, it's 9:30 and we don't have to. We're like, we still have to clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just that I wouldn't say panic state, but that high level of stress state where you're all feeling the same thing.
Mm.
And it's just amazing how quickly you can actually do things when
Yeah.
you stop thinking about it.
Surprise you, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It was very surprising. I was like, damn, we actually all got this done in the first week. We felt as a course that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then working on the weekends was interesting. So on Saturday, we did the full day until dinner time, and then
Mhm.
time was our own after that until lights out. So lights out was still 10 on the weekends, and the wake up was a little later. I think wake up was 6 or something like that because the mess times were later on the weekends. I think they're about 7 on the weekends.
Mhm.
So, you did get that extra half an hour sleep in, which was sometimes after a long week a saving
Yeah.
grace.
Well, and yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the first week, a very busy first week. You go in thinking, oh, I can do that. Like I've worked a full week before, but
Yeah.
it's very different because you're working right up until you're getting in bed.
Mm.
Like your brain's still ticking away right up until you get into bed,
Yeah.
if that
And
makes
just
sense. Like
constantly, working
yeah,
and moving and
yeah,
walking around a lot. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's one thing that I didn't realize is how far everything actually is.
Mm. And you got to walk there.
Yeah. I think it was like a kilometer to the mess and back. So there's 2 kilometers every time you want to eat.
Yeah.
So yeah, it adds up eventually. After the first week, like I do remember a few other people and myself included, having like muscle soreness and being like,
Sure.
damn, why am I so sore? I know I'm fit. I've
Yep.
prepared for this, but it's just the constant physical like efforts that you put in, even though they don't seem very big. But
Yeah.
once you're doing it for a week straight, every day, it does add up. Because then,
Yeah.
you have PT sessions in between that, and
There's a
you
lot
don't
going
really
on.
get a rest, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's constant. And
Yeah.
not only the physical stress, but like you were just talking about, the mental stress as well.
Yes.
We got to get this done. Can you help me with this? I can't do this. Yeah. Everything's going on, and it all, all the stress on the body, it's all dealt with the same sort of way. So
Yeah.
it all compounds for sure. Well, on the physical training side of things, what was it like at basics? And like, did you do much of it through the week? And also, you were talking about the fitness testing before, but what did that look like for the remainder of the training?
Yeah. So for us, we did PT about 3 times a week, every week. The days change depending on the week, obviously depending on PTI schedules and our recruiting schedules. It changed. But yeah, mostly you would get a day break in between just so, you had that opportunity where your body wasn't worked at a high performance rate, if that makes sense. So it did have a capacity to recover somewhat before you go and, do another PT session.
Yeah.
But then, in between that, you have drill and all of that other stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, fitness tests wise, in the first week we had like a mock fitness test just so the PTIs, could see where everyone was at physically, so they knew how much effort they had to put into our PT sessions, what did they have to focus on, because it's all group based, it's not like individual. So as a collective group, they take like average scores and they're like, all right, well, we need to work here for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very full on PT sessions, very different to what I was doing before in terms of a lot less weight training. So there's a lot more cardio and circuit training for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But the PFA is very different to the PFT standards. So, they need to get you there, which is understandable. But yes, I do remember running around the playground a couple of times, like halfway, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I really hate this. But yeah, like running as a group, you all like push each other up and you talk each other. You're like, come on, we can do this. We can do this. Like as a group. And it's the group morale is really good because we're all pushing each other together because we're all struggling together.
For sure. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Fitness testing wise, I believe it was like week 3 or week 4. We had our first official one. And they have 3 ones in the 9 weeks that we're there. So they have 3 opportunities in basic training for you to pass it. So I'm very grateful that I passed it the first time.
Good.
Round. So I was very happy about that.
Yeah, that's glad.
I remember getting on the phone to my parents that night when I had 30 minutes phone time, and I was like, I passed.
Yeah.
I was like, I died at the end, but I passed.
Yeah, awesome. And on that, with the PFT side of things,
yeah.
So for Air Force, there's a few selective components that you get to do with that. Unlike Army, we got set in stone. There's just the 3 elements that we go through. So with the upper body testing, do you still have those options while you're there between the flexed arm hang and the sit-up, and the push-ups, and also with your fitness test, so the aerobic test? Do you still have the option between the beep test and the watt bike there as well, or does everyone have to do the beep test?
No, so you do have the option between the beep test and the watt bike there. Everyone chooses beep test because the watt bike is very hard.
Yeah.
I remember doing one session and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
You still have the choice between the flex arm hang and the push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And the sit-ups, you get a choice between feet held or feet unheld. So for those people who prefer held or unheld, you have that option of like choosing between. So for feet held, it's 65 sit-ups. Unheld, it's 30.
Mm-hmm.
Flexed arm hang, I believe, is 15 to 30 seconds. I would have to double check that, but it's in that range of 15 to 30 seconds. And push-ups is 10. All of this is for 18-year-olds, so it gets lower for older. Like as you go up in the age brackets, and obviously males are higher for the beep test. The push-ups and the sit-ups are the sit-ups are the same. The push-ups are also higher for males. So that's the female side of it. So you do get that choice of, what you'd prefer. And the way they set it up is, in my opinion, well calculated. So everyone gets a fair go and a fair choice of doing it. So, not half of you are resting while the other half is running and then you swap type thing. Like everyone's doing it once. So you're all fatiguing at the same rate. If that makes sense. Which was good because I was like, how am I going to do this? There's like 60 of us. But no, it's surprising how many people choose the different ones that reasons out eventually that, it's not that big of a group that's doing the beep test or the watt bike or the push-ups.
Yeah.
So that was the PFT. It's challenging, mentally and physically challenging. Especially when you have people around you who may not be at the same fitness standard as you, whether that's higher than yours or lower than yours. It can be very mentally challenging of, you're looking at them, you're like, well, why aren't I doing as many sit-ups or push-ups as them? or oh my gosh, why are they really struggling and why am I doing it really well? Like, am I doing it wrong or something like
Mm,
that? So it's those aspects of like, oh, am I actually doing this correctly? Or, oh, what am I doing wrong? I'm falling behind,
yeah.
type thing. But it's just that of you, everyone's at different fitness levels. So you just have to bear that in mind when you do group fitness testings like that, that not everyone's going to be at the same level as you.
Yeah. You get
And you
good at
can,
putting the blinkers
yeah,
on. Yeah.
yeah. And you can also learn off people who are above or below you, in fitness levels as well. That's what I found out. So, there are a couple of people who were like superstars, like older than me, a lot older than me, but they were just acing all of their fitness tests, and I was
Mm.
like, oh my gosh, I was like, I'm struggling with this aspect. Like, he's so much older than me and he's so easy. But then, they give you like tips and tricks of what they do. They're like, oh, well, before I go to bed, I do like, 100 of these, 50 of these.
Yeah.
So, then you sort of get those secrets of, oh, well, they're training outside of our PT sessions. That's
Yeah.
why they're really good at it.
Yeah. Keeping it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So
For
then
sure.
I do remember watching groups of the boys and some of the girls who were struggling doing like group PT sessions in the block after we got knocked off of working together.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
So
at my basics, we were always doing push ups and sit ups in the room, and yeah,
yeah,
just doing what we could.
yeah.
Awesome.
Or they would be sprinting up and down the hallways. Like one of the tall guys had, about a meter foot width would walk about 20 and then make each other run up and down. So they get used to the chopping and the changing of the beep test.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Do what you got to do, I guess.
yeah. So that was, yeah, sort of week one in a nutshell. Very full on week. Week two, sort of slowed down a little because, obviously you weren't getting as many briefs because we had done most of them, but then you were also getting more into the physical side of
Yeah.
recruit training. So you were doing a lot more drill. PT sessions were getting a little bit more heavier
Mm.
because, we got introduced into our first battle PT session in week two. So, they're getting more physically demanding in that aspect of, well, now you're running in boots and long pants and things like that, which for some people is a struggle because they've never run in boots and long
Yeah.
pants and stuff like that. Um, yeah, and we also started doing a lot of tactical PT in week two.
Yeah.
So, learning how to carry stretches and lifting things properly and doing things as a group and as a team. Um, Yeah, that's what I found. It sort of turned more tactical to give us the basis, to progress
Mm.
into the other weeks of recruits. And also week two was very much restrictions got eased, to give you that false sense of, oh, this is getting easier to make you like relax.
Yeah.
um yeah, it was nice, but then also a lot of us were questioning, oh, well, what are we doing now? Like, I feel like we need to be doing something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's also that
Language.
self-discipline to, keep it up yourself, to keep yourself busy and doing other things. And
Yeah.
yeah. Week three sort of, ramped up a little bit again. Um, that's when we had started having more briefs about different things. And then we also started having more drill lessons because I believe, yeah, end of week three was our first drill assessment. So, during the week, you do so many drill practices. Like I remember being out in the parade ground practicing drill for like 2 hours after dinner. And I'm like, everyone's messing up because we're tired and we're done. We're so ready to go back to the block. And they're just like, no, again. And we're like, but yeah, it's because all of you are working through it together, you sort of bond over it together. So you
Yeah.
all bring each other up as well as bringing each other down, if that makes sense. So it can work both positively and negatively.
Mm.
But I found mostly positively for us. It only took a couple to people to be like, no, well, we actually are doing good. And we're
Yeah.
also like, okay, well, we are doing good. And then
Yeah.
it showed
See?
like in our results that
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Week 4. Yeah. What did we do in week 4? That was sort of the lead up to green phase. So, getting briefs about, combat phase, I should say. So, learning about all of that, learning all the theory behind it, um, but, behind certain elements. And we did a little less drill that in that week,
Okay.
to compensate for the briefs on, the combat phase and what it looks like, and then, getting all of our stuff issued to us and things like that. Our PT sessions were still very much 3 times a week. I think they're about an hour, hour and a half long, most days, like most of the sessions were, depending on time and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
varied. Um, yeah, and then the next week, week 5, is when you start your green phase. So that's when you get your gas masks and all of that. So yeah, I remember getting all of our SCE checked, which is like your combat ensemble. Our corporal, well, our MSI has told us that if we don't have it right, the AGs will throw it out the window and make us leopard crawl around the building together. And all of us were like, oh, we don't want to do that. So I remember walking out of my room and I just seen like 50 dive bags in the hallways and in the common room of everyone. This is like, I think it was 8:30 at night, and everyone's like trying to get it right, looking at the example that we got given, trying to get it right on like a Sunday night so we don't get in trouble on the
Yeah.
Monday. Yeah, it was very much bonding with people you don't usually talk to,
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
because the people that you're talking to at this stage in recruits is everyone you feel comfortable with,
Yeah.
everyone in your comfort zone that relates to you. But I find with big tasks like that, you go and talk to people who you don't talk to, who are out of your comfort zone,
Mm.
because they usually know more or have more insight than the people in your comfort zone, because people in your comfort zone are usually similar to you.
Yeah.
It's just a human thing. So yeah, I found I was talking to a lot of people I would never have talked to in that week, asking for help. How do I do this?
That's
For
across
some people, yeah,
all courses and all training. Yeah,
yeah,
you always yeah, it's such a crazy thing. And especially looking at army side of things, we go to basic training, all the guys get our heads shaved, and then all of a sudden you make all these friends that you normally wouldn't talk to in like
yeah,
any like outside of in civilian world, and you make really good friends with them. And yeah, it's a crazy thing that you strip away all the normal stuff of regular life and you just put you and this person in a situation where you've got to fix problems and sort stuff out, and all of a sudden, yeah, you make
yeah,
some really really good friends, and yeah, it's just awesome to strip all that stuff away
yeah,
and make those types of connections with people that you normally wouldn't.
yeah, yeah. And it's also because you don't have time to put up those barriers of,
Yeah,
no, I don't want to talk to that person.
let's
You
do
don't have time to
this
do
now.
that. Like, and you either talk to them and get it done, or it doesn't get done.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I feel like it's also just um timing wise pushing you out of your comfort zone a lot more, because yeah, like you just don't have time to just sit in your comfort zone, if that makes sense.
no, for sure. Yeah, all you got
Yeah.
is you got a problem, and we got to fix it, and we
Yeah.
get this thing done. Doesn't matter how you do it, but it needs to be done now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that extra stress on you, and the yeah, like it definitely helps you push beyond what you normally would, and definitely reaching out for help is a part of that. And working as a team is such a huge part of anything in the Defence Force. You'll never do anything as an individual. It's always as a team, and that carries on with you well outside of once you get out of the Defence Force as well. It's just such a good trait to have, to learn to be able to work as a team and achieve a common goal as a team as well, no matter who you're
Yeah.
working with.
Yeah. So that stage was interesting. That's what I'm gonna say about that.
Mm.
You learn a lot of different things.
Did you do
And
gas? Yeah,
yeah,
not
so we got
gas.
tear gassed.
How was that for
That
you?
was Oh God. I remember talking to my dad about it, like before we were going, and I was like, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, I'm scared. And Dad's like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Like you've been trained, like you'll be fine. And I was like, oh my God. And I remember training with one of my friends, to do the canister exchange. Like I think I did it like minimum 200 times with her. Like
Yeah.
this poor girl. We were both doing it together. Like, okay, do we have it? Do we have it? And then yeah, when it came to the moment, they send you in all geared up first. You walk in there, you do some exercises like running on the spot, star jumps, things like that, to get your heart rate up and you breathing really, really heavy. And then they just explain what's going to happen and what they're doing and how it's going to work. Just so everyone knows, so you're not walking in there blind per
Yeah.
se. And then we had to take off our masks. Hold your breath and feel the effects of the gas. So you knew what it felt like if you didn't have your mask on properly or things like that. And we had instructors in the room with us, and it was very controlled. Um, yeah, so that was really interesting. I remember standing there taking off my mask and I'm looking at my instructor, like blinking, tears rolling down my face.
Good feeling,
And I'm
isn't it?
standing next to the door waiting for him to open it. I'm like, it's pretty obvious it's working.
Yeah. You got no
Let me
control
out.
over that stuff. It's like it's getting
Yeah,
sand and glass thrown
yeah.
in your eyes all at once.
It's awful. And then, we had our instructors outside, instructing us what to do, once we get outside, to stand in the wind, make it brush off, don't
Yeah.
touch your face. Like, yeah, it was all very controlled. So, I didn't feel unsafe at any point.
No, for sure.
Which is also good that you don't feel unsafe, when it is the real deal thing. When you come across it, if you get deployed or whatever, you have that safe foundation of you're like, well, I know what I'm doing
Yeah.
type
That's it.
thing. Like
And
you
you've done
feel
it for
safe and you're
real.
like, yeah. And
Yeah.
you're like, well, I know what I'm doing now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we went through the gas chamber, as we called it, 3 times. So yeah, the first time all suited up and then you take off your mask and exit. And then the second time you go in, let me remember, without your mask on. So, just in your normal um, gear.
Mm.
I think,
And you,
or what
and you
was it
got to
called?
put your
Dress
mask
state
on.
2,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. With just your boots and the suit on. And then, you have to put your mask on and
While
everything.
you're in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember because you have to hold on to the people in front of you. I remember
Yeah.
thinking, because there was this really tall guy in front of me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to lose him. And I'm going to get stuck in the middle of this room, and I can't open my eyes or breathe in because
Yeah.
like, it hurts.
I was the
So,
person leading everyone in when we did
oh,
ours. Yeah. So I opened my eyes as we were walking in. And it was like as soon as I opened the door, it was honestly like someone just had all these micro bits of like glass dust and just
yeah,
threw it straight into my eyes like instantly. And I was like, wow. And so I charged in there and well, you know how you got to do all your buddy
yeah,
checks and everything
yeah,
as well. I put my mask on and I just felt like I couldn't purge the
yeah,
stuff out of there. And yeah, when we're doing our buddy checks, my buddy's checked me and he's like, yeah, you're good. And I'm like, you have to get someone else to check you because
yeah,
I can't see. Like I've got snot, I've
yeah,
got tears, everything going on. I can't check you. I can't see a
yeah.
thing. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
no. So I was thinking, like, oh my God, what if I can't hold my breath? So, it's that whole like panic state because you know what it feels like
Yeah,
now. You don't want to go through that again. So you're just like, oh my God, what if you can't hold your breath? But it's actually impressive how long you can actually hold your breath for
yeah, I
when you
did the
need
whole
to.
time.
Yeah, I remember walking in there and I'm like, I've got my hand on my gas mask sack ready to go. I've got it there. I'm like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready for them to tell me to put it on. Yeah, and I remember doing the body check and being like, all right, I have no idea if this is safe. Check.
Yeah.
Like, I could feel it safe. I've purged it all out, but I need you to check.
Yeah. Feels
Yeah.
like it's still in there though as well.
Oh, yeah. You do have that little irritation of your mind of like, oh, is my mask sealed
Yeah.
properly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, leading up to that, so you did. What's the green phase? What are you talking about when you're saying green phase? That's
Um,
just like all your military style
yeah.
stuff.
So
Yeah,
all of like your combat stuff. So you're learning how to do with gas, your weapons, field phase, and that sort of concludes it. So it's
yeah,
sort of broken up into like 3 main categories. So in the first couple of days, you have your gas stage because you do all of the training up until I think the Wednesday or the Thursday. You do all of the training for it, and you go with the instructors religiously, and you just do it over and over and over again until you get it, and then you get taken to the gas chamber, as we call it. I think towards the end of the week. And then you get your weapons the next week after that. So you walk up to the armory and you get issued your weapon. It's a very different experience because you learn how many people actually haven't handled one before. Like coming
Yeah.
from a farming background, I've handled them a lot because I used to go shooting with my dad. So for me it was second nature of handling a weapon. But then for some of my friends, it wasn't so much second nature. They were very much
Would be like that.
scared of it. Yeah.
For sure.
But always in a safe environment, never really felt unsafe with the instructors. And then the next couple of weeks, I think it was 2 weeks or a week, something like that, is just very heavy weapons training. So I remember like day after day, you'd get the wraps. And we remember thinking, oh God, can't wait till we can go to the mess again.
Yeah.
Those get really boring. But it's just day after day of, endless hours of weapon training, going through lessons and then going into lectures and then lessons and then lectures. And then we did our first couple drill lessons with them. That's really interesting, actually, doing drill with a weapon.
Yeah.
I feel more rewarding than without because you feel.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it feels like
It's
So you're doing something better than you're just being out there on the playground, walking around and stuff. Yeah, like you get your weapons. It's more formal. It's probably the best way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then towards the end of that week, we went to range for 2 days. So fired live rounds and did all of the target shooting and your grouping shots and your marksmanship principles and everything like that.
Yeah. Awesome.
I remember leading up to that, we had to do our weapons qual test. And I just remember like in the block, like 3 days before, like everyone was just religiously training for it. Like, everyone would be in buddies because, you weren't allowed to do it alone because of the safety checks. You had to have a buddy to check it. So I remember everyone just being in pairs, like whoever we found that was sitting still for like a minute, you're my buddy. Type thing. So I remember you just sitting down with whoever, going through all of your drills. And then the night before, our corporals are like, don't practice too much. They're like, if you need to practice, but don't practice too much. So we were all like, okay. So we sort of practiced for a couple of hours after the mess, and we're like, right, we'll all just chill out because we know the next day we're going to have, they're going to go through it with it once before we do the test.
Yeah.
To make sure that nobody's taught themselves the wrong way or something like that.
Yeah.
But everyone passed, which was good.
Yeah.
So I think maybe one person didn't, but a majority of us passed, which was good to see that, we all worked together as a team and then we moved on as a team. It was a good, like, rewarding feeling of growing together as a team to keep pushing through as a group. And then, you go to range. That was 2 really fun days, firing live rounds at the range. Yeah. And then also being in recruits when Anzac Day came up because Anzac Day for us was the next Friday. So after range for us was the next Friday was Anzac Day. So that was very different because we just got oh gosh, what is it called? When you get your rank. The name has totally slipped my mind.
Just got promoted or
Yeah, it has a special name. I'll think of it again. And we just, got our AC rank slides and we're feeling really good because we had just, did range and then we just got off field. That was interesting. I'll get back to that after. But it's a very prideful feeling being in and then for Anzac Day.
Yeah.
And then because you actually understand it more. Because everything you've been taught up to that point, you then step back and you go, well, holy.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was a very different experience. Because our course was the senior course at the time, we got to go to a different town and do their Anzac Day parade there,
Oh yeah.
and march in their Anzac parade and represent the 1RTU, which was a really good experience, and we did learn a lot. Also talking to veterans there, and
Mm.
then just the general public, and everyone coming and talking to you, and yeah, it's a very different experience. It was very rewarding after field.
Yeah, for sure.
Field for us was a week. I remember it was the Sunday before field, and somebody thought it was funny to say a false alarm that we were leaving. So I remember people running around to all of the buildings around our precincts, like, we're leaving in an hour. Get back. And I was like, crap, because I was playing pool, having some downtime, and they're like, we're leaving in an hour. And I was like, crap. So I remember running back, well, marching back to the block, and then, running around, getting all of our stuff sorted. And just as a few of us were about to walk out the door, they were like, "Oh, actually, it's a false alarm, guys."
Someone's stitching you
we
up.
were like, "Oh." But yeah, the next day, after breakfast, our sergeant walks in, and he's like, "Oh, this seems like a good time to give you your notice. See you guys later." And we were like, "Oh." And then we were sort of all running around, and we all got our bags on and everything, and we were like, "Wait, why are we stressing? We have an hour and everything's packed."
Yeah.
So sort of that moment of realization of you've already packed it.
Yeah.
We're already ready. Why are we stressing? Type realization. Then, we all make it down as a group and then go through the whole unpacking, repacking
Yeah. All good fun.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Fun is a word for it, that's for sure.
Definitely feels repetitive when you
Oh,
already packed everything, checked it like about 10 times, and then, all right,
yeah.
check, pull everything out, put it back in. Yeah.
All right, 3 minutes, pack it up, go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, chucking it all on the truck, getting on the buses. And because we were such a big group, some of us had to wait, so we could only take it like a couple bus loads at a time.
Yeah.
So also just like sitting there waiting was a fun experience, I should say, because you're like, oh, well, what are they doing there? Like, what is it like? And then when you get there, you all get ushered into the classroom and then briefed. And then, you take your bags to where we were staying. Because we sort of simulated it of, all right, you get to your deployment country area. Here's your home base. We stayed there for a couple of nights. In the forest, setting up our hutchies and everything like that. So the first day was pretty much teaching us how to do that, how to set up your hutchie, how to set up a sleeping bag, and where to put it, what's ideal, for cold, because it was, yeah, about like April at that time, April,
Yeah.
May. So it was getting pretty cool.
Yeah.
To keep yourself warm. Them giving advice of what you should sleep in, what you shouldn't sleep in.
Mm-hmm.
To avoid infections and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we got the I think it was a 30-minute notice to deploy. So we had to pack up everything, chuck our backpacks back on, march down the hill again to our deployed area in the firing pits. So for our course, it was 2 to 3 people in a firing pit. So, you'd sleep behind your firing pits. There wasn't facilities for us to set up our hutchies. So we didn't. We were like, oh, well, one less thing we have to set up.
Right.
And just slept under the stars with our sleeping bags. And then, yeah, got into sandbagging. A lot of sandbagging.
Mm.
And
I'm
a
sure
lot of
everyone's
different things.
in the Defence Forces done plenty of sandbagging in their life. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It's yeah, definitely a key point of that. But you do a lot of other interesting stuff with like, simulating control points and search areas and
Yeah.
things like that. So like the security side of it was also really interesting. And then they simulated like airbase attacks and mortars and stuff like that. So that was, fun as well, learning about all of
Learning all
that.
the
And then,
bare basics of military
yeah,
life, the outfield.
yeah,
And even though, yeah, Air Force, we
yeah,
never see field. And
pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And
That's
then
great.
first
Yeah.
firefights were fun.
Once you got through your field phase and everything like that, is that pretty much the end of your course? Is it?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. We only had like 2 more weeks, and we were finished, but they were pretty much just very heavy theory weeks. So we had to do a couple presentations about a few things, um, and just finalizing course per se in a theory perspective. So making sure we have all of our online courses done and everything like that. Final drill lessons and just making sure that we're all, ticking all the boxes for 1RTU to graduate on the Wednesday.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you made it all the way to the end. And I bet you that was an
Yes.
awesome feeling for you after, getting that the idea of joining back when you're 8 years old to actually, you've already got the uniform at that stage, but marching out of the
Yeah.
basic training and officially being in the Australian Defence Force and specifically the Air Force. So I bet you that was an awesome feeling for you.
Yeah, it was really good to finally be like, I did it.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, just looking back at your time at basic training, so just give us what was the one thing that you think you struggled with the most and the one thing that you enjoyed the most out of everything that you did there?
Uh, One thing I struggled with the most. That would probably have to be, even though I said I did communicate with people, would have to be talking and interacting with people I wouldn't usually, or people that I don't necessarily bond with. So, dealing with those confrontational relationships because not everyone gets along, but then learning how to deal with that because you still have to work as a team was very challenging at times. For multiple reasons. With everyone's fatigued, everyone's tired, you know, just things like that of learning how to deal with that, for yourself and then with others to help de-escalate situations or, just the communicating with people you don't know
Yeah.
was sort of a struggle. But I really enjoyed a lot of the physical aspects. So a lot of the drill and the PT sessions were really good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, at the start, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a long 9 weeks. But, once you get like a couple of sessions in, you sort of just learn to just go with it and you'll just work really hard. And, you know, you have so many friends, people around you, always like, come on, we can do this. We can do this. We're a team. So looking back, that was probably the best part of recruits of just um, doing those things as a team and then also individually as well,
Yeah.
having like personal accomplishments.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything that really stands out for you that you look back and you'll probably never forget about your basic training experience?
Oh yeah, probably the obstacle course is probably something I'm gonna remember like
Yeah.
forever.
Good way or a bad way?
Good way
Yeah.
of yeah, especially after field, doing it after field, you're tired, you're ready for bed, you're dirty. And then they're like, oh, well, obstacle course, go. And yeah, I remember all of us just getting in, getting it done, at that point, not caring, just
Yeah.
doing it as a team and finding like that you can still do it even when you're tired. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, right, I've done that previous to defense, but yeah, just that extra level of I'm so tired, but I can still do it.
Yeah. It's that
I can
mindset.
just, yeah,
Yeah. Of this is the task, you just do it. There's no, oh, how do you get the motivation for it? I'm tired.
yeah,
All this sort of stuff going on. It's just like, this is what we're going to do. You do it. You
yeah,
just got to be able to flick that little switch in your head. There's so many things that you can do at home, training that sort of stuff as well. And I run this through a lot of people that train with me. And I'm sure you've seen plenty of the challenges too, but simple stuff like cold water showers.
yeah,
Just that ability to like, okay, this is a thing that I've a task I've been given, a challenge I've been given. No one wants to ever do it, especially through the middle of winter. You got to learn that ability to just switch it off, get in there, do it, and no matter how bad it is or
yeah.
how shit you feel.
I mean, also finding it enjoyable.
Yeah,
Like, finding those hard tasks now enjoyable is, yeah, probably something that I look back on and I'm like, yeah, that was fun.
yeah, good.
That was
Awesome.
good. Yeah.
All right, well, what's one lesson you've learned about yourself throughout this entire journey? Is there something that sort of, you've probably learned that maybe you thought you couldn't achieve or couldn't do in the past, but you've come to surprise yourself like, oh, wow, I
Um,
can actually do that stuff?
Probably just interacting with different people and people that I don't know just off the cuff.
Yeah.
Um, like I know for me personally, I would never really go up and talk to someone if I didn't know them, or like if I wasn't forced to talk to them, I wouldn't. I was very much of like, well, if I wanted to ask them a question, I'd really have to like think to myself, how am I going to approach them? I'm going to talk to them. Like I'd have to have a full plan. Whereas now I can just like walk up to anyone and be like, hey, how you going?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just those communication skills that you learn just by, yeah, being chucked in a group of random people
And the more you
is,
do it,
yeah,
the better you get at it as well. And it sounds
yeah,
like it's a pretty big thing for you. And yeah, and that's another skill that never really leaves you. You can be thrown into a group and you can make friends, or at least, yeah, like you're talking about, communicate with people. No matter where you are, it's something that I noticed. Yeah, I was the same going through school and stuff like that. I wasn't massive on making new friends. I had my group, and that was
yeah,
about it. But now, after leaving the defense force, I can go up to anyone and make friends with them, or at least achieve something with them and be able to
yeah.
communicate effectively to be able to achieve whatever we're trying to do. So it's a really good skill to learn.
And then also learning skills of like leadership and followership. So, like, when is it applicable to lead a group of people, or when is it applicable to follow a group of people? I feel like you also learn through just being chucked in with a group of random people.
Yeah, you learn a lot that
Yeah.
way, don't you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Well, if someone was listening to this and they're a little bit nervous and thinking maybe they're not fit enough yet, what would you tell them about preparing to get themselves ready, going through your process? So, yeah, I remember you coming on board with me, and your push-ups were down at the 3 to 4. You're obviously
Yeah.
banging them out now. You were struggling to even run sort of 500 meters at a time. What's your biggest word of advice for someone that's thinking they're not fit enough at this point in time?
Just keep going. Like, I know everyone says that, but like, just keep going. Like, even if you can only run like these 500 meters at a time, just run an extra 500 meters every time.
Yep.
Or if you can only do 3 or 4 push-ups, doing it like always do 3 or 4 more push-ups.
Stack it up.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, sort of what you talk about as well. Like, you only get the results you want if you put in for it. So, if you feel like you're not fit enough or you're not getting there how you want to, just keep going and you'll see that you'll get there.
Mm.
Because every 500 meters add up.
Yeah.
Like if you run 500 meters every day, by the end of the week, that's what, like 3 kilometers,
Yeah.
3.5, something like
Yeah.
that. Given you have a couple rest days, but that's 3 kilometers that you wouldn't have ran if you didn't keep trying.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Definitely. So what I'm hearing as well
yeah,
is consistency with your training, which
yeah,
is, the number one thing. And yeah, running, especially like push-ups, strength, anything like that, consistency is the number one thing. There's no point going out, like you're talking about, if you can do
yeah,
500 meters, no use doing that on Monday and then you don't do anything for the rest of the week. Or this
yeah,
week you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The next week you do just one day. Those kilometers add up. So imagine if you did that every single day and cross an entire month. Obviously, we need
yeah,
rest and recovery in there as well. But you think of how many kilometers that accumulates over months, over years worth of training, it all builds up. Yeah, those little
yeah,
things that seem insignificant at the time, like even only just running 500 meters, you accumulate over that over a long time, and it definitely builds up into.
yeah. Because then that 500 meters turns into a kilometer, then
Yeah,
turns into 2, then 3. So yeah,
for sure.
that's what I would say. Just keep chugging away at it, even if you feel like you're not getting anywhere. Like, just keep doing it. Like, for me, my dad also supported me a lot. Like, because, he'd come to the gym with me and sometimes he'd be like, Dad, I really just don't feel like doing that. He's like, okay, we'll just just do what you have to do. And then, we can go. And then I do what I have to do. And Dad goes, oh, well, that last one was shit. Do another one. So it
Yeah,
was just that, like,
yeah,
oh, fine, doing, all right, well, I don't feel like doing it. So I'm going to force myself to do more.
mm,
Or,
yeah,
I don't feel like doing this. So I'm going to force myself to do a couple more reps because I know that they're probably not up to the standard of if I felt like doing it, if that makes sense.
Always go one more.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, people that are leading up, they're pretty much getting ready to go for their first week at 1RTU. So just getting ready for their basic training for Air Force. Got any advice for those people, whether they're nervous about it, or have you got any sort of packing tips or anything in general to give advice for those people?
Yeah, so with the packing tips, definitely reach out to your careers manager and ask for the latest packing list. I think I got an old one and I realized once I got there I didn't need half of the things.
Mm.
So probably like the main things, like if that's one thing that stresses you out, is look at the list and then go, well, if I was living away from home, I mean, which you are, if I was living away from home and I wanted to keep up like a daily lifestyle, what would I need? So, I feel like that was something that I didn't do. I sort of just looked at the list and was like, oh, well, I need all of that, and threw it all in and went overboard.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So just looking at it and going, all right, well, I'll definitely need PT stuff. I'll definitely need coat hangers. I'll definitely need, things like that. I'll definitely need toiletries. But then also, just speaking like for females, also think about it logically of how much time will you have, depending on toiletries, of like, well, how
Mm.
much shampoo and conditioner do you really need to bring? Because how much time are you going to have to wash your hair?
Yeah.
Or things like that. So sort of think about it and go, all right, well, in reality, how is this going to work? All right, maybe I just need one bottle of shampoo and conditioner and that'll be fine, type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Sure.
And then preparing for it, I would say, don't completely drop your fitness, because I know you did advise me, don't drop it, but keep it steady,
Mm.
which is a good thing, because you don't want to go in not having, run for a week, or not having doing push-ups for a week or something. You want to go in having a baseline of, right, well, I've done a little bit of running for a week or a few push-ups. Don't overload yourself, but having that, I still have that basis of I've still done it, so it's not a total shock to the system.
Yeah.
On day one, day two, when you've walked like 4 kilometers, 6 kilometers.
Yeah, I've actually got a video on
Yeah.
that on 2 weeks leading up, and yeah, that's what it's about. So, reducing any sort of accumulated fatigue, which is a big one, and because you want to go in there fresh.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to stay sharp as well. So you don't want to just
Yeah.
completely do nothing, because you're going to get there and you're going to be feeling rusty. Your fitness isn't really going to, your training should be done already by the time it's 2 weeks out of your basic training start. It's just a matter of, getting yourself fresh and making sure you're still nice and sharp going in there, ready to go. As I said, fitness won't drop over a 2-week period if you just completely have it off, but you will feel rusty getting back into it. So you want to at least do some good stuff across those weeks, just nothing stupid and getting injuries or anything like that as well.
Yeah. And then also keeping your mind busy.
Yeah.
Like not overloading yourselves, like, I'm not going to keep myself busy all day, but, keeping it busy, because most people, usually finish work the week before, or, a couple days before, or whatever. Just keeping your mind busy of keeping it working. So that's sort of what I should have done. I didn't do it as much, especially the last couple of days. I'm like, oh no, I'll just take it off. Like it's fine. I won't do anything. But yeah, you sort of just want to keep your mind busy, so when you get there, your mind has been still working for, the week before or however long before.
Yeah.
So, when you get there, you're ready to take on the fire hose information that they feed you. Yeah.
And staying sharp and mentally and physically. Yeah, for sure. Definitely a common theme. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, looking ahead, what excites you about the year to come? And you've got another, how long have you got left of your gap year?
8 months? Is that right?
So what excites you over the next 8 months? Obviously not going into too much detail with things that go on, but anything coming up that you're excited about? Anything you're really looking forward to?
Mostly just going on exercises with my unit is very exciting. So, experiencing those different things, and getting an insight into defense life. So I know every job is different, but for the gap year in particular, being able to go on exercise and see what it's like to go on exercise, and getting to have a look at everything.
Yeah, and
Um,
see how it all works.
yeah, even
Yeah,
if in your mustering get to go and exercise, you still get to see what everyone else does, because on exercise so many jobs come into everything.
yeah,
So you get to have a look and you get to see like the broad scheme of defense
yeah.
of Air Force, Navy, or Army.
Mm.
You get to see what they do in action, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's
All the
probably something
training.
I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to, is the opportunities you get.
Good. Awesome. Oh, well, Tara, thanks for sharing your story. It was absolutely awesome. I'm sure, yeah, it gives plenty of insight to anyone that's looking into, especially the Air Force side of things, and gives them a real glimpse of what it takes to join, and what the journey actually feels like, yeah, on their way to joining the Air Force. So thank you again. And for anyone that's watching this, if you are preparing to join, the one thing that you can control, which we've been talking about, is your fitness. And my fit for service training plan is designed to help you do just that. That's the one that Tara jumped on board and did before she joined. So if you're interested in it, just click the link in the description to learn a little bit more. So thanks again, Tara, for being here and giving us a look into your experience.
Good. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Enjoy the rest of your night.
I will. You too.
All right. See you later.
See you.